Hello, my time crunch teachers, and welcome to the show. This is your team teacher, Marielle Drozier, usually giving you tips on teaching technology and time management. But today I just wanted to post a super short episode that explains why I don't have a normal upload schedule or why I don't post every 2 weeks or a week or whatever that might be. If you don't care about any of that, feel free to skip this episode. But I thought it was important for me to share the why behind that. So if this is the first episode you've ever heard of me, then definitely skip it because I'm not giving any teaching value, but I do want to talk a little bit maybe about balance and work and life and what that is for me. But very long story short, essentially, I don't post frequently because of priorities, really. And, like most people, my family and home life, come first. That's the majority of my time is with my husband and my 2 kids and a ridiculous assortment of animals and whatnot that are in the house. And so that obviously comes first. And then after that, it is my job. It's my class. This year I taught 5th grade. I had 32 students, and the students in front of me, my class, the kids, they come first after family. And I think a lot of that is just work ethic, but also I really care about my class. I had an amazing class this last year. They were an awesome group of kids. They worked so hard on everything, and they were just really, really good people. And so I felt like I definitely owed it to them to give them my energy, and not to mention that that's my job. My job is teaching. I'm a full-time teacher. And then after that, comes the YouTube channel and the podcasting. And I actually really, really love podcasting. I think it's a fun way to explore more of the long form content. Since the YouTube videos I try to keep relatively short, especially since it's called the time crunch teacher. I don't want people to have to wade through an 1.5-hour video to get the information. So I try to keep those, under 15 minutes. A lot of them are under 5 minutes. And the podcast I really love because it's a little more conversational and usually has my colleagues, especially Stephanie, is on it as well. And, the other thing too is I don't make any money from the YouTube channel or the podcast, or I currently don't. Maybe I will someday, but that was never the goal. The goal was never to create a channel or create a podcast in order to leave teaching. I love teaching. And maybe that's another reason why, some of the postings fall by the wayside because, I really love my job, and that's where my time and energy and creativity go into. Actually, at this point, it costs me money to have a YouTube channel and a podcast. Not a lot of money. Maybe a lot of money in equipment because I love having, nice things. But, I pay a nominal fee to have the podcast hosted by a website and whatnot. But basically, yeah, it costs me a little money. I'm not making anything. And maybe if I'm being honest, maybe that's a motivating factor too, is, because I know it's a interest and a hobby. It's not something I'm necessarily putting first in my life, but I really enjoy it. And bless my coworkers. If I'm making nothing, they're like making less than nothing because I make them come to my house and put up with me for an hour or 2 at a time while we record. They actually are the unsung heroes. They're the ones putting in a ton of effort and time and creativity to the episodes. And that is a passion and love for them is just helping other teachers. And that's why I love the school where I work. And, not only are the students and families amazing, but I chose to work where I work because of my colleagues and because they are such incredible team players and so helpful in any time that I needed anything or any of my other colleagues needed anything. And so they just show up and they help people. And that's just who they are. And it's a really great thing to have at a school. But that also transferred into the show and the podcast because they just show up and help me. I'm like, hey, I want to talk about this. More about this topic than I do. Will you show up? And they do. And they have a lot of a lot of wisdom and experience. And they all actually have very different teaching styles than myself. That's another reason why I like doing the podcast, is because I think they provide a lot of interesting insight and ideas that I would have never come up with. And their style is different. So if your style matches more, with like Leanna or Stephanie or any of the other people I have on, I think that's really important, because I do think there's a lot of different styles of teaching. So now that I've rambled on for a while, I will say that I'm going to try my best to batch record a bunch of episodes this summer. I don't teach during the summer, or I'm not teaching this summer. I have taught summer school in the past. I'm not teaching this summer. And so that affords me a little bit more time when my children are playing Halo or some super loud game in the background that I'm trying to figure out how to edit out later. But luckily today, they're not playing video games in the background while I'm trying to record. But yeah, I'm going to try and spend the summer, batch recording some episodes. But I also think that that's sort of what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to try and release, every 2 weeks. I think I'm going to just record a bunch of episodes, push them out. Next time I have a break or time, then I'll record some more. And if you are more interested in maybe a podcast that has a short form content, maybe more like the YouTube channel, please let me know. Feel free to email podcast@thetimecrunchedteacher.com. And I know that's a really long email address, so I'll put that in the show notes. But if that's something of interest, then I'm happy to do that as well. Looking at the stats, I see that a lot of people tend to download the more longer conversational podcasts than the ones that are just me. And I totally understand why. Talking to myself always feels very strange. Talking with Stephanie or somebody else is way more fun. So I'm happy to do any of those. Like I said, this is for fun. This is a work of passion. I think I have been incredibly fortunate in that I have received a tremendous amount of help from colleagues and friends over the years that I've taught. And so I definitely feel a positive obligation and to help others. There's got to be a better word for that than positive obligation, but that's how I feel. I feel like it is something that I want to do and I enjoy doing. And I love having student teachers or people just entering the teaching field, because they have so many great ideas and they're just coming out of school and learning all the new research and techniques and approaches. And I very, very much value that. So I'm happy to help out any new teachers, because I feel like the new teachers have very much helped me throughout the years. So that's about it. Not a particularly exciting episode, but I did want to be able to get that out there of maybe why it is wildly inconsistent when I post episodes. And I'm actually batch recording today. Stephanie's coming over and we're going to power through as many episodes as we can. We'll probably just spend 2 hours talking on one topic and that'll be that. But our goal is to record a few of them and go from there. So thank you so much for your kind attention. And until next time, teachers, bye for now.